Hi, everybody out there. How's it going? Yeah, welcome to another episode of Not a Insecure Guy. A live show with a big show type thing going on. Oh yeah, I need to brighten myself up here, don't I? Turn myself. There I am. A little dark there for a while. A dark mode. Click, click, click. So, yeah, I'm doing fine. I had my vacation with my son this past week and came down from San Antonio. I got a video of him to work with, and we'll post that before long, I think. Not too long. And basically, he helped me as I tore apart my framework laptop, and so you can see how easy it is to disassemble, tear apart, put it back together, that kind of thing. So yeah, I look forward to seeing that video going up pretty soon, I hope. And I just have to edit it and put it pieces together and all that kind of stuff, and upload it. So we have that video coming up. And that's why I was absent last week, because I was with my son, family stuff thing. I forgot to think about that ahead of time, and oh my, can't do it. Can't do both at the same time. It can't be two places at the same time, I guess. So therefore, I'm not there. So anyway, we have a good show, I think, for tonight, because we have a special Linux Mint 20.3 new version just came out a few days ago. And yeah, you'll like it, I think. I like it. Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't want it for my daily driver is because it's a stable release. And especially on this machine here, that it works in boxes at least. Virtual machine, no boxes. But it's not very compatible with, what can I say? Yeah, it's not very compatible with my new laptop, because of the kernel probably isn't high enough to support it. It might be. I haven't tried it really. But I know one of the kernel I haven't, all I've done on this is rolling releases, or semi-rolling releases, which I guess Debian, not Debian, but Fedora and Solus are semi-rolling releases, and that they roll, but not as rolling release as Arch is. So yeah, I installed it in a virtual machine, and where it ran fine there. So see how it goes. And so also I want to talk a little bit about a PC Linux situation. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I gotta tell you what I'm drinking today, too, don't I? Yep, sure enough. It's my Christmas cups, since we just had Christmas Sunday. We just have our Christmas stuff out. Tree still up, all that kind of stuff. Kind of late for that, but hey, when you have COVID, you delay things a bit so that you can have a good time later on. So that's what we did. So I have this Christmas cup. It's got words on this side. Baby, it's cold outside. What I got in here is some cocoa mint tea, Rubio's tea. Pretty spiffy, huh? Oh, sure add to it. Yeah, that touch of sweetness there. That's what I'm drinking today. Is that. And I'm still waiting for people to show up. So we'll continue on, forge ahead, and get all this introduction stuff out of the way. Anyway, I was going to tell you about PCLinuxOS, how my situation with that is now, right now. Yeah, I wanted to install it, and I installed Trinity on my out in the. I think I mentioned last time. I don't remember. Anyway, I think I remember mentioning that I had installed it out on my living room on my son's old. Not old, certainly not that old. It's a pretty new machine actually. But anyway, Lenovo Legion. I'm not sure what number it is, but it's a desktop anyway. It's a gaming desktop, and it only has a dedicated NVIDIA driver in it. So I was wondering how I'd handle that. So I plugged her in and all that kind of stuff, and I installed it, and it worked beautifully out of the box, pretty much. It picked up the NVIDIA driver pretty well, and I didn't really have any issues with NVIDIA on it. That much, at least not that I know of. Sometimes you never can tell until you've actually got it cooking and that kind of thing. But anyway, so we have that going, and I was wanting to see if I could get it installed virtual machine on this thing. I wasn't able to do that, and I went on the Trinity, not the Trinity, but the PCLinuxOS forum, and posted my situation there. Now, lo and behold, in gnome boxes, one of the things you have to do is you have to select what the distro is based on, so to speak. When you have a distro and you put it, it doesn't recognize it automatically, which I haven't had one recognize automatically yet. Yet. Excuse me. Yet, but it yeah, here's a little tip if you had running the same problem I did, which is on my machine. On this framework laptop, I thought it was the only framework laptop. I don't know what. Excuse me. Framework laptop was the only one that I wasn't able to get to the on the virtual machine, the Trinity PCLinuxOS installed on it. For some reason, it just would not install no matter what I tried and what I did. Well, I come to find out, I thought, and of course I've been corrected since then, but I thought that it was based on, or that you had to base it on something. So since it doesn't have PCLinuxOS directly in there, you have to get what it's based on. And so I erroneously thought it was based on Mandeva 2007 version. That's not really the case. Eventually, this will throw clear out and stuff, I think. Anyway, so I thought it was based on that, and I came to look at it, and I gave my train of thought back. Yeah, so I knew it was based on I thought it was based on Mandeva 2007. It's really based on Mandrake specifically. And I think if I got this right, I'm not sure I do for sure, but anyway, it's kind of like forks. Mandriva and PC Linux sort of forked off. I'm not sure what to call them forks, but based on or whatever, or it's based on Mandrake. Mandrake, yeah. So you gotta get all these M's down right. So Mandriva and PC Linux is based upon Mandrake, but yeah, so that's what I should have sought out what it was, but I read somewhere, I don't know if it's on a website or something, that based on Mandriva set 2007. Oh, okay. So I plugged that in. Apparently it wasn't. Or if you want to get it working, it's not what you want to tell it's based on. Strangely enough, if you put in OpenSUSE, just generic OpenSUSE, no numbers or nothing on there, it'll work. So you have trouble with PC Linux and GNOME boxes, you want to check that out, then probably the easiest way is to go to OpenSUSE. Plug in as OpenSUSE based distro. Now it's not really OpenSUSE based distro, I don't think. At least I never have heard that it was. It does use RPM straight enough, and it also uses the app to RPM. So you don't put in any kind of Yoast or DNF or Yay, not Yay, but Yum. All those RPM-based distributions use. Just use apt as if it's a Debian-based system, but it's not really Debian-based. It's not really. Not sure why they use that, but they do anyway. So it works. It works pretty good, except you can't search on it. I have to search on stuff using Synaptic, the graphical user interface for it. So yeah. So anyway, that's how I got it installed on a virtual machine on my framework laptop here. Where before I can do nothing, it wouldn't work no how. At least I could have installed it. I didn't really install it because I just put the live CD. Once I booted up live CD, I said, "Oh right, now I know I can install it." Because any time I've been able to boot up on live CD, been able to install it. But if it's not, then never would install correctly on a virtual machine. At least on this laptop, able to get it on another laptop. I wonder how much of the GNOME boxes on other ones I could have installed using OpenSUSE to install it straight out. Because what I had to do before was like my Acer laptop over here. I put it in I went in and I installed on safe boot mode, basically. It's the only way I could get it to install. And when it installed in safe boot mode, then I was able to go in and edit. Once I got it installed on the system, then able to go in and edit the grub command line and grub configuration file. Slash etc slash default slash grub. I was able to edit that file and change and take out the two no's on no MVP. No, that's not right. No APCI, no was no AICP or something like that. Took out those two entries, and then that's what SafeBoot adds into it. So you have to have those in order for it to fully close out your machine and all that kind of stuff. And other functions, and it needs to have those operate. So that's what I had to do anyway. And then, so I guess, but when I use this OpenSUSE as a basis for it, then boom, it went straight through. Who knew, huh? I never guessed that in a million years. I'm glad somebody told me that information. Otherwise, I've been there for ever saying this won't work, it won't work. Yeah, I guess it's a workaround or something for it. But anyway, it works in OpenSUSE if you have to base it on there. So anyway, we're going to go to Linux Mint today. Look at that. Check that out. Probably, yeah. So Linux Mint 2003. Now, Linux Mint was a system I used a long time ago. Say a long time ago, like about 3 years ago. It's hard to believe how much time has passed. It's hard to believe how much time has passed. Yeah, I've been doing this show for about, let's see. That's the Pacific show, not the Brews and Linux here guy. I haven't been doing that for that long, but I've been posting videos and reviews of various distros and stuff for about, excuse me a second. Apologize for my throat, but it's not behaving itself very well today. Difficult to do a live show like this. So anyway, yeah, I used to use Linux Mint back in the day, which is like about 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, I used Ubuntu when I first started out I first used Ubuntu when I started out in Linux. back in 2011, I think it was, around there. At least I'd say I picked. So anyway, yeah, I've been 2011, 12, somewhere in there. And yeah, I went through all the dual booting with Windows and all that kind of stuff. Finally, I realized I rarely went to Windows, so I just kicked out of that. So anyway, I was on the Ubuntu for like about 6 or 7 years, I think. Wow. And yeah, I first went to XFCE and was on that for about a year, I guess, or almost a year, before I discovered Linux Mint. Ooh, cool. And I really fell in love with Cinnamon Desktop at that time, you know, because it was just easy to use, it was intuitive, and it worked out of the box pretty much. All the stuff worked. Just real simple. And I liked it a lot. Now, I didn't know that much about Arch at the time and all those other rolling releases I had, so I had heard the names, but I didn't really know that much about them that much. I hadn't installed anything other than Ubuntu, Xubuntu, and then Linux Mint. Then in 2018, I think, is when, or maybe it's 2019. I think it's fall 2019 when I started this channel. August of 2019. And I started playing around with all those other distros. First, I just installed them for reviewing them. Then I started liking one of them, Peppermint, and I installed it, or tried to install it. I can't remember whether I ever got it cooking on there or not. I don't think I did. I think it was Sparky Linux I got it cooking on it, but then it had some repository issues or something like that. I really couldn't use that with not being able to upgrade it, basically. And so, well, I need to show you my shirt. Yeah, it's a distraction, real quick. Yeah, I got a new shirt for Christmas. Yay. It's this past Sunday. And maybe you've seen it before or something. I'll go get it here in a minute as soon as I finish this spiel. And yeah, so any rate, got some warning up here. It says please check for your which doesn't tell me anything. Open widget, that kind of. Anyway, I see recapture my direction I was heading with this. Okay, now I remember where I was at. So I installed Linux Mint, fell in love with it, fell in love with Cinnamon Desktop. Cinnamon Desktop has a lot of things going for it, actually. Matter of fact, I installed when I installed a distro on this framework, I installed the Cinnamon Desktop from Endeavor. One problem was they couldn't really handle resolutions on the differing screens. Didn't also have very much scaling, fractional scaling. Didn't have fractional scaling in it. It didn't have that resolution on the screen, so that's an issue. It's kind of weird screen, and if you leave it at full resolution like it defaults to in most distros I've tried so far, it creates real tiny stuff and everything's real small in it, and you have to really, what? There it is. That kind of thing. So I end up having to go with a different distro, I could have gone with the same distro, I suppose, but for other reason with a different distro. And we can discuss that later, but at any rate, I went to started shopping around, and I went to Solus Budgie, not Bungie, but Budgie. Budgie, it's a bird. Anyway, I went to Solus Budgie, and that worked for me for a little while, but then I started having some other issues with it. And really, I finally just decided of what the heck, this is just too much, because it's weird. This is a 3x2 screen on this computer here, and on my external monitor, it's a 1920 by 1080 screen, which so the sizes were hard to get. I was able to do it to a certain degree, and that I could get this anything that had contained at least fractional scaling, like Budgie did or XFCE does too, and I could get it to match up even if I couldn't get a resolution on it that would match up very well. So I was able to. I forget where I was showing this again. What she gives me is all these little dead end pauses stuff. Oh, where was I going with this thing? Oh. Yeah. So anyway, I installed Linux Mint and had fun a lot of time with it. And I remember I had a side rabbit trail. I went down there for, and I was like, where I thought the main point of it was this rabbit trail. So Linux Mint is one I installed originally, and I was on it for about a year or two, a year and a half, a year or two. And I really loved it. At the time, I just loved it so much. And yeah, so any rate, let's get over to their website and see what's going on there. We don't have anybody here yet, but maybe some other stuff while we're cooking on stuff. Wonder what he's doing over there, and come over here and check me out. Never know. So we'll go ahead and do the review of Lenny Smith, so it's out there for the world to see at least, even if nobody shows up. But let's see, Lenny Smith. Oh yeah, go to the website first. Okay. Yeah. Here we are on Lenny Smith. I got several things here. Lenny Smith. This is their website, main website here. It's their. Hold on a second. Just realized that I had to switch that over so you can see what I'm talking about here. Lenny Smith is the main website here. It's 20.3 is the latest version that they just put out. I guess it's about last Wednesday or so, I think. Last Thursday. Been out for a few days, but not very, so it's pretty brand new version of it. Anyway, if you want to get it, here's how you go. You go here, download it, and it gives you options when you click this. If you want to download the Cinnamon Edition, which is what I was used. Or you usually got a Monte Edition, or they got a XFCE Edition, which is what I downloaded. Since I'm into XFCE right now. On something that was fit to work with anything I wanted to work with. I remember where I was going with that. Yeah, so when I had this screen resolution here issue with this desktop, and I finally decided I was just going to separate it out and just not worry about having that. I'm going to connect my other 1080 full HD screen laptop up with that thing, so it's back to normal over there. And then I can use that occasionally. But then I'm just on this laptop here. Notebook. It's not really a laptop. It's a notebook type thing. Doesn't even have a keypad and that kind of thing on it. So that's what I kind of wanted really originally, was something that's easy to carry around. But mainly I wanted something that's more powerful than what I had with the Acer was. And this is about twice as powerful or something like that. So XFCE is what I downloaded on this. And you go download and it downloads it. Very simple, huh? Yeah, so then you can burn it onto a DVD, or you can put it on a flash drive, and then you can plug it into your computer and install it that way. So yeah, pretty cool. So anyway, that's that. Now we have some release notes here. Okay, Fusion Edition, Cinnamon, Latte, or XFCE. Now, Cinnamon probably most people will be aware of, but here's the known issues with this. Snap Store is disabled by default. Re-enable it. Read this. So you re-enable it. You have to jump through some hoops, as they say, but yeah, you re-enable it. If you really want snaps, which I never have used, that's my last option. Usually I use repositories and I use app images if there's one, and I use Flatpaks if there's one, and I use snaps as the last resort, basically. And if I can't find it all the other places. So garbled screen and VirtualBox issues. Black screen, garbled screen. Yes, this tells you what to do about there, what workaround you can get for those issues if you have them. You got your home directory encryption. Yeah. So guest sessions. Touchpad drivers. There's what you do about them there, what you install to get around it. You have any touchpad wine. It's an interesting thing is that you install wine, install a meta package, has some, among other things, this will install wine desktop files. It has menu entries for regedit, your C drive, and other items which are missing from upstream wine. That's a cool little feature to add into it. Sound and microphone issues. Says yeah, they have a real basic volume controlling in here. I'll show you in a minute what that is, but yeah, it says if you're having issues with your volume or sound output, please install Pavlov Control. That will add pulse audio volume control to your menu. That has more configuration options than what they have, basically what it's saying. And there's your tips if you in a live session, if you like get locked out, like goes to the lockout screen or something in your live session, use min as username and empty password. Just hit enter with no password. Moving windows to open the screen. That's standard for most Linux distributions. Yeah, you can press Alt anywhere in here like this. Move this window around. Well, usually. Most distributions, I don't know about Fedora, but yeah, so but in Linux menu, you can push Alt key, you can move any window, part of a window with the mouse, move it across the screen. Yeah, sometimes your header up here is difficult to get locked in. Like you can't see it or it's disappeared off the top of the screen or something. And unless you know key combinations are set in there, set them in there, whatever, you don't have any way to really move the screen around. So yeah, and then you can press Alt and move it around. We'll test that out in a minute, but we get into that. And anyway, it's got install multiple codecs. It's offline. Download the multimedia codecs to an installable archive. So, no graphics removal. Yeah, it says some graphic cards don't work well with open source drivers present in Linux Mint. If Linux Mint freezes during boot time, use the compatibility mode boot option. Yeah, and they said here, your grub menu basically. And there's a compatibility mode somewhere in here. Yeah, the standard cinnamon or whatever version you have up here menu. And it's optional mint. Anyway, choosing the right version of Linux Mint, that's some help with that. And it's got more information about that now. New features, we'll look at those when we're getting into showing it to you, but yeah, that's the cool thing about that, huh? So anyway, we have that, and that's the website. So that's it. We'll run over to Linux Mint. Now, I already pre-installed this, so we install updates are all done on it. Anyway, we're here at the login menu. We'll log in. And if I type the password, I will log in. If not, we will log in the toggle way. And see what I say. This is this resolution I set in here that I use for most of the things on here. Yes, it doesn't totally perfectly fit the screen per se. Let's move this up into, yeah, so you see up here at the top, it has a black area up here and black area down here. Yeah, so and I don't know if you can see it because I think the screen function of OBS probably just knocks that out and just puts an actual resolution of that. But anyway, yeah, there's a black bar on the bottom and a black bar on the top. See, it's about quarter of an inch wide, I guess, or something like that. So anyway, that's the best resolution I found for this. The reason I'm using the XFCE is because it has all those options where you can change the, yeah, sometimes it'll show, let me just pull up a display here and I'll show what I'm talking about. See, it's got scaling, it's also got, you have all these options. And some distros, I don't know if it's distro or the desktop environment, but some of these you only have one, you have two that you can choose from because it's 4.3 right there. You see they have several 4.3s here you can choose from. It's probably stuff like, let's see, that would probably become close to working with this. Oh, it's 2.3, that's right, 2.3. Anyway, 3.2, excuse me, 3.2, that's what it is. The 3:2 ratio fits screen perfectly. So a lot of distros or some don't list all these resolutions. Some do, some don't. You never know what you're gonna get. But yeah, so what I have listed is this resolution here. This is the top resolution, 250. You want to see what that looks like? See what that looks like. Yeah, see, you can't even read that, most of it. So tiny and everything. That's why I use that version of it. Which is 16. Yeah, 1050. There it is. 16 1050. That's what I use. Anyway, so you can see what I mean when you have a full resolution, everything looks tiny and small on there. But at any rate, that's what I use. And also, if I only have two options here in XFCE, so a scaling function, which you can select either one, which is standard, 1.5, which makes it bigger, or 2, which makes it even bigger. So what I mean, 1.5. It's not too bad. About the same as what I got, really. But you got 2, which is what cinnamon had. 1 and 2 is all I had is cinnamon. And it's about the same either way, huh? Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure fractional scaling if it works here or not. I haven't. It's the first time I tried it in this, so I don't know about that. Anyway, oh yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm doing that anyway. Set it on here for 3:2 screen ratio, and now they have several new features in here, or they've added features to the existing products. Now, one of the things about XFCE that I don't care for, about the other thing I don't like about XFCE very much, it's highly configurable actually. I never thought of it as a highly configurable desktop, but it is pretty configurable. Install whatever you want in it. It's got fractional scaling, like I said. You enter the custom mode. I was going to show you that one. They enter a custom thing in there. So if I wanted to enter custom, yeah, it goes like that thing. And then if I want to make it bigger, like this wasn't big enough or something, I put in 0.5. Put in any increment of 10, I think is what it defaults to. So 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. You can get rid of those, all those different ones, or down all the way to 0.1 probably. Well, it'll probably be a huge screen. So yeah, you wanted to make a bigger screen. Gonna fractional scale it up. Doesn't look like it likes that very much. Yeah, some resolutions aren't good for your screen, so it'll kick over back over to what it should be here in a minute. As it does, we'll continue on. Yes, I think it eventually will. Any year now, dude. They may be stuck in the trying to fit in that fractional scaling mode. And I don't know if I ever tried fractional scaling in a virtual machine as often. That may be another issue. But it's having a glitch here. Alright, well, I'll have to force shut down then. Over here. Yeah, so this is an initial welcome screen you Linux Mint. It's got traditional first steps. Really helpful if you're a new user to Linux and you want to know what to do, what you need to do, that kind of thing. By the way, you can check your desktop colors. I kind of like purple actually myself. So see how I like green down there? Boom, change it purple, or you can change it to red if you like red, or yellow, or any of these colors here that you want to use. Now this is more traditional Linux Mint. As one new feature they added, they said, was that the theming, that's blue in it, yeah. So it looks kind of green on there, but it's blue. Anyway, this is blue. It's aqua blue over there, I guess. Why it looks kind of green. Or you can do the traditional Linux maybe. One of the new features they added this, they dull the green color a bit, so it doesn't look as bright. Stuff like that. I'll switch on dark mode. I click in there, boom. Yeah, this is all in the initial thing, so you can kind of get it set up how you want it there. And you can launch your system snapshots, set up time, what is that called? Time, whatever. It snapshots your system before any, what do you call it? Before any, yeah, it basically snapshots your system so you restore it to your computer to its previous working state. Better if I just read this stuff sometimes. I'm trying to think, but through anyway, now if you have any drivers that are unique or need non-free drivers like for your Wi-Fi or stuff like that, you launch the driver manager from there. Then you launch your update manager, which basically uses Synaptic to do it, but it's more automatic than just going through Synaptic to do it. So that in a minute. System settings. Launch that, you can set up things. Basically, it's like your control panel for Windows. And your software manager, which is basically, let's look at that real quick. I'm not sure if it's not really Synaptic. It's more like a more like a pop shop is type thing. More for there. So Wine, Google Earth, Steam, Gparted, Sublime, VirtualBox. You install these right here in this GUI. So yeah, all sorts of stuff you saw. And you can do a search up here for stuff like you want to install Kitty, which is my preferred text editor. Type it in there. There's Kitty. Cloud Kitty processor. Heard of that for. Yeah, so anyway, that's a fast featureful GPU based terminal emulator. So yeah. There's Mailman 3 web. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff on here. You want to install that, you can install that there. Software manager. And it has your firewall. You launch that, and it should be the easy firewall. Yeah, it's a, let's see what do we call this thing here. GUFW firewall. An easy, simple, nice, and useful firewall. I like it pretty much myself, but didn't know the name of it exactly. So yeah, all I do is just click it on and it denies any incoming and it allows all outgoing. So if you do something like, sometimes you have to set special rules for certain things that are going to ding you without being asked. But yeah, basically what that means is all outgoing things are allowed and the incoming is denied. It originates there. So yeah, and then you get documentation. So if you want to know how to do something, you can go there. Help is a more direct thing. Like your manual, this is like your help center. And you can contribute to it. So yeah, that's your welcome screen for new users primarily. Or sometimes even for us old timers too. Yeah, so at any rate. Yeah, you notice when this pops in, I have virtual guest installed, but the resolution is different. So now you could access display by, we'll put this at the right. See, it defaults this resolution. This is what virtual machine resolution defaults to. However, I'll play this one in the words all the time. 1680 by 1050. Okay. Now I was going to show you this one thing about XFCE, which is all true of all XFCE desktops, not just Linux Mint version, but the XFCE desktop you have. You hit the Windows button and it brings up this like it does in a lot of other distros and desktops. You hit the Windows button, it'll pop up the menu automatically. The problem with XFCE is if you have another key binding it's set with that, the window key, it sometimes works, sometimes won't. So just depends what it is about and that kind of thing. So you want to set this somewhere different. You want to set it to a different function. So we'll go to settings. Setting manager right there. Just like your control center here. And this, you can see it better. And do you have all these options? You can go to appearances, desktop settings, notifications, panel, window manager tweaks. Now, if you want to go to the keyboard to put in application shortcuts, they're right there. Now, you'll notice you scan over here, you see super arrows right there. Yeah, it says what pops up the menu. Let's see, this menu pops. What I do there is I'll do one of two things. What you can do in Cinnamon here, and not Cinnamon, in the Linux Mint, since they set it up, you can put Control D, I mean not Control D, but Super D on there. So all you just do is come in here to edit. Okay. So I need to press another key, so I'm going to put Control D on it. Like that. And what that does is it'll remember Super D, not Control D. Yeah, anytime I push Super D, then I'll get the Windows, the Linux Mint pop up that way, like that. So what that does, it allows you to use Super Key for other things easier, so like Super P. Yeah, Super P is automatically set to display settings, minimal. Now the app finder is another option you have up here. All I like to do is set this one. The other option is you can just disable that altogether, just nuke it, sort of like so. So now if I push Window key, see nothing happens. With Window D though, it pops the menu just like before. Now you have your spot where you can type in stuff and it automatically pops up, or the other ones that don't have the cinnamon style menu in here built into XFCE, and probably Monte probably has this too. There's an application in this called App Finder, which is kind of like your little pop-up menu you set all the time. What you can do is if you go down here, Super D, edit, and I'm not sure exactly how you do this part, but oh, I know how you do this. You just have to remove the whole thing from there. And just like leave it blank or something like that. Maybe you can apply some other text like www for a web browser. Anyway, you can blank this out. You can remove this. I'm not going to remove this because I don't want to remove it, but remove this by clicking the remove button. Then you go up here to App Finder. You do what I did for there where you edit. Click continue, then put in whatever super key, super D you want in there, and it'll pop that up. Just so you know what it looks like, what it is. Let's go App Finder. Application Finder. There's what it looks like. And you type in Firefox, like Firefox, you'll find it like that. You enter. That's just like a Rofi type style menu if you're familiar with Rofi and the window managers, that kind of thing. So if you most XFCEs you don't have the nice Simmons style menu on here, and yeah, so it works better that way. So yeah, well, what it does have is the application menu, but the application menu doesn't have a really good search function on it. What it does, so you have to scan through it, look through it, and find where it's at, and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's easier said than done than other times. Anyway, uh, so we have that application finder. You also set your pops. You also set any other application. You add them. Add menu. So say I wanted to add. What I usually do is I add. Is it? This is different in here than this other place. Usually you bring up where you bring up your live bag kitty. I can type in here if I wanted to. Kitty. Bag kitty in here. Which I don't, but if I install it what I was looking at before, it'll type kitty. I press any key. They wanted to go super return. And right there. Remove that so we don't have it actually. If you want to know what your shortcut keys they have built in for this, then you go here. Thunar is either Super E or Control Alt F. Super easy to remember for me. Super E brings up Thunar, File Manager. Now, what I also like to do is I like to install or change the default key, because on this keyboard, to get to F4, I have to actually press function. So I have to press, in order to close the window, I have to press function, alt, and F4 all at the same time. I don't like that. So therefore, I like to move it to different key binding, which is usually Super Q, what I usually move it to. So you notice there aren't any window key bindings here, so you have to go to the window manager to get those key bindings. Back here, we'll go back down here to all settings. And window manager. And keyboard. And there, close window, L F4. Now I do the same thing you did before, you edit, but this time you don't have to click continue, because the only thing you do is set a key bindings for that. You can't add anything, you can't delete anything. Or you just set defaults or clear or whatever. So anyway, you press any key, go Super Q, and then you can close the window Super Q, just like that. Sweet, huh? Now, so that's what I do usually on the XFCE is I usually adjust the menu to what I like. I like cascade menu, so I put the application vanilla. I just put the vanilla if it has whisker menu or fancy menu like this. This menu I like okay. So I can just type in D blah blah blah. So that's why I just set a key binding for this to work instead of removing it or something like that. But or set a different key binding altogether so I can get a hold of it if I wanted to. And then set Super D for the app menu, app finder, whatever. I kind of like app finder, like the Cosmic desktop functionality and all that kind of stuff, which is very similar to this Rofi style. So, yeah. So anyway, that's that. That's what I do for the menu. Let's check out updates. Now here's your updater. One update available. Already updated before, so wouldn't have to go with this. So it's one into update system D. It says new version. So yeah, it's pretty simple. You just say install updates. Click. And this will go to where it uses Synaptic. See what I mean? It uses Synaptic to update it with, but you don't have to really. You don't really have to use Synaptic to use this. It just automatically does it. I'll show you how you use Synaptic to update if you want to later on, but yeah, so it's done one update of that one thing, all software, and it's ready to cook as soon as it says bye-bye. I just taking time thinking, oh, there it goes, finally. Now your system's up to date. Now you also get your mirrors. You want a local mirror? Say yes. And you enter in your password. And here, so you can see this one's linuxbit.com, I think, is American. So that's where I'm in the USA, so yeah, that's what I want there. If you want a faster mirror, you can probably click on it. And this one though is in Britain, so that's a little ways away from me, from Colorado, USA. So I would want a different, so all I'll do is click on it, and then I let it roll for a minute, and then it goes through and it finds the fastest one and puts up the top for you. So yeah, it's going through all the ones. 3.3 is the highest one so far. They're ordered from highest to lowest speed. So yeah. Yeah, going for a while. Maybe I'm going to say, okay, that's good. Sounds good to me. And then hit apply. And it puts that mirror in there. Now you say, okay, you want to, yeah, it's going to do the equivalent of apt update, which refreshes your mirror list into the cache. And it's done. And you close out that window. And it's done, so you can close this window. Now, if you want to do Synaptic itself, here you go, Synaptic. That's Package Manager. It'll start up the first time you start, but use that little information there. Now, if you've never used Synaptic before, it's pretty easy to use. You can use the search function over here. Say I wanted to search for kitty over here. Kitty. And then it sends you, oh, there's kitty. Right to there. Then you would like left click on this. Right click, mark for installation. And you say mark all. So then it's marked everything for installation, dependencies and all right there. Then you just go up here and you hit apply when you're ready. And it will be, it just tells you what it's going to install. So new package will be installed. So hit apply. And then it downloads it, updates it, installs it, all that good stuff right there for you. Now if you wanted to do Let's reload. Then reload your same thing as update on your do an update. And then if it has any updates, it'll have a mark mark all in updates. You hit that, then you hit apply, and then it installs any updates. I think maybe it may have adjusted that in this. I don't know for sure, but don't have any updates to try to install. May not show that here because it's a situation where they already have a Synaptic update process and it's all built in. So yeah, show that here like it is most of the distributions. So, but theoretically, once you hit the things or updates, it'd have a markup of all updates, and then you hit apply when it's done, and bada bing, bada boom, it's all updates. So, yeah, let's see. Now, what were some of the other ones? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's look at our apps down here, what we have. There's here in your favorites, those are the ones I've used, so that's all favorites. Recently used, all applications, accessories. You have a lot of those. Standard application finder, archive manager, bulk rename, calculator, fetch file search. Want to search files? That's a good little any way to do it. And the way I usually do is go to locate in terminal, but I do a lot of stuff in terminal. Most people don't would rather do by the GUI, graphical user interface. So yeah. Character map, disk, that's like checks out your disk and partitions. You can partition, use the partition, clone, whatever, disk. Another way you can back up, but for fonts, you view all the fonts in your system management, I think. Yeah, let's look at that. Curious about that. Yeah, you look at all the fonts on your system. I don't know whether you install them using this or not, but yeah, I'll show you in a minute how to install fonts. No such things in your system. Basically, you just use the Synaptic Package Manager to locate your fonts or those kind of things. Do a search on fonts or do a search on themes. If you want to install a theme, install it and it should be there. We hope. Mm-hmm. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. So we have those accessories, document viewer, image viewer, logs, menu editor. Yeah, you can add things in the menu if you want to. Notes. On board S, they did add some new to this note section. Like sticky notes you could read up here. This is a sticky note. Now you can understand. So you want to put note a lot bigger than what it is here. Not sure exactly how it is, but I'll figure it out. Right there. Format, you make it large text. There's a new feature they've added to notes. You make it big like this. Also, you have your note. You can search on notes too. They had like a note for As I say, this is buried a bunch of other sticky notes in here. You can then have it go search on like a note. Put some in here, it's not in there, so we know when it goes away. It's correct. Let's see this. Let's pull a bicycle or bike. It disappears when as soon as you type something in there. So what it is, the search function will pop up any notes that have this term in it that you enter in here in the search function. And cool, huh? That's a new feature they've added to Una or 3.20.3 Linux Mint. That's pretty cool. Like that. And yeah, you can dump this note. Do not want to run it. Delete note. Yes. Don't ask me again. So you get that note function. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's all that's accessories. They have also some new in here. They've updated the they have web apps, which is sort of like Ice and Peppermint, and it works pretty much the same way. Just set a website that's your website in there or whatever, and it'll appear in this menu as if it's an app. Like if you like Microsoft Office, for say, you want that in here, you can just sign up for Microsoft Office Online, put that menu in here or that URL in the web apps thing, and it'll do it. Be right back. Alright, so web apps, if you ever used it before, pretty simple to use, self-explanatory. Thunderbird's the default email client, and Firefox default web browser. Also the headchat. Now, I hadn't tried headchat before, but I just watched DT, and he clicked on this and just took him straight over to automatic default over to the Linux Mint XChat. So you can have all these people already here. And they're chatting about it, I guess, apparently. So yeah, you can ask your questions here in this text chat. Just click that, you go to support right away. Minimal Linux Mint help text chat. Pretty cool, huh? So you got that. Your graphics, you have document scanner, drawing, the simple drawing utility, which I thought was interesting. So you simple drawing tool. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but there it is. That's simple drawing tool. I want to save it. No, I just want to discard. Just an example, basically. So that's the graphics section. Internet section, multimedia, rhythm box, pulse audio volume control. Nice, that's what I wanted to look at. Now this is, they've done some added features to Hypnotics. I know Celluloid is play movies and videos. My favorite video player actually. I like it a lot better than VLC. Hypnotics is a TV thing. TV channels. 559 TV channels you can look at. Movie zeros, series zeros. Anyway, you go here apparently. And you go to your country or something similar to it, like USA. USA. And CNN. And eventually it should pop in CNN. Yeah, breaking news. It's breaking news, huh? Yeah, so. Yeah, DT had problem with this too, I think. Yeah, it's in, I'll try what he suggests, which is bring up a terminal and do X kill. See your cursor changes to an X there. You just click on the window you want to kill. It kills it like that. Boom. Pretty nifty feature. I wasn't aware of that until I saw him do it, but cool. Then we got let's see, multimedia. We have pulse spot audio volume control. This volume level. Rhythm box. Celluloid. Office. There you have your all sorts of interesting things. Now, one of the interesting things is library. This is organize your documents, so you use e-readers or any EPUB or thing like that, or PDFs. It organizes them and you can read them on here. Document viewer. The library, but it's actually called in the notes thingy or something like that. Thingy 1.05 library website. So yeah, you can go to the website and check it out more, get more information on it, how, probably some documentation on the website for it. They have a PDF or something built automatically in there for that though, like a manual or something like that. So there's that, and you got, let's see. Multimedia, Office, standard LibreOffice setup of Calc, Draw, Impress, Math, LibreOffice Writer. I use all the time. Settings. This is what all these settings you find in your configuration if you go to your settings manager itself. System is also some stuff. Software manager, software sources, printers, logs, login window. There's Kidia, which I installed. Driver manager. Disk usage analyzer. Bulk rename, backup tool. You can back up your home directory. Then our file manager, task manager, system reports. And you got these things down here too. So pretty much a lot of interesting features in this and some updated features in it. And I always liked Linux Mint, obviously. And if it was more rolling release, not so based on old outdated things, like I need more updated OBS and stuff like that, then I could install just Flatpak version, which actually OBS is going to go full Flatpak, so as I understand it. So if you download the repository, that it may be a dated thing. Probably have to install it eventually by Flatpaks only. So anyway, so you could install Flatpak versions and more stuff in Linux Mint, and it wouldn't require that you have that. However, I'm afraid that the the basic long-term support kernel that's in here, which is 2.7, I think, 5.2 or something like that, and the current kernel like 5.15, I think, or 5.17, something like that. 15 is when it's installed in both PCLinux and in Fedora. I'm not sure what that one is though. It's Linux 5.4 is what's installed after updating it. I think it's 5.2 when you put this on the disk, but then when you update it, it goes 5.4. So I'm not sure if that kernel would be able to handle the newer hardware on this firmware laptop. It's a fairly brand new computer, brand new system, and all that kind of thing. Even for, I mean, as far as not just brand new to me, but brand new to the world. So framework laptop might be a little over have some things in it that may not work on older kernels. So at least that's what I've heard. I don't know where the cutoff is, what's the latest, earliest kernel you can use, but anyway, I have installed all the rolling release distros on this framework, so I wouldn't know that yet. But I think I tried to install one kernel, I think on a Debian at one point it wouldn't work or something like that. So I have a feeling it was, I tried to install Debian Bullseye on this framework and I couldn't do it for reasons because it didn't support, it didn't even have even the non-free versions of the live CDs wouldn't work on this because it didn't have the drivers I needed for even in the repositories or anywhere to install it on for my Wi-Fi driver. So I have to have a more modern release than Bullseye for it to work. Alrighty. So there you go. Excuse me. Down here in this, I have this should be your desktop. Minimize all open windows and show the desktop. So you want to close everything out if you had too much crap on your window, which a lot of people do. Firefox, your terminal, XFCE terminal is one they use in the XFCE, obviously, and Thunar, which is the file manager for XFCE. Now, if you're working in Cinnamon, it'll be Nemo. If you're working in Mate, it'll be Kaja, Kaja. No, CAJ, not K. Yeah, so yeah, you have those options and those things that you have there. So let's go over here. Notifications. Your system report. Oh, this system reports button. Click on this, it'll pop up this. It'll tell me wants to install some language packs and stuff like that. So I usually do, but I'm not going to do this on this because I don't intend to keep this just for this purpose to show you what's on here. But you'll probably want to do this if you install it on a machine more permanently than what I'm doing here. And it's pretty easy. You just click on install the language packs, installs them just like other things. Just follow the prompts basically. And then you get your updater icon. This anytime there's updates, it'll indicate it here. And it tells me I'm on the wired network connection. Although this isn't really wired on a laptop, but it thinks it is because it's in a virtual machine. Virtual machine is just wired to to the laptop's thing. Now here you have notes. Oh yeah, as soon as we enter that note, you left click on it. Either quit out of the note thing, or you can manage notes or new notes. Add a note, whatever you'd like to do that. And there's a computer. Not sure that was power manager plugin. Oh, it's power manager. Okay. Alright. I guess it tells you whether it's plugged in or whether it's charging, that kind of thing, if you have a battery or a laptop or something. Now here's volume. This is volume that's interesting. Click on this. Use this thing. And it's audio mixer. It's microphone. And this is now. This isn't the same thing as your volume. I mean, it'll increase your volume if you raise it up. And you put on the speakers. Yeah, you click on this. And actually, it's already clicked on. And if you click this, it'll mute it. Then, if you want to say you're not getting enough microphone, like I might if I wasn't on OBS, I'd have to use this to increase the amount of microphone input I got, or this will increase the amount of that. So yeah, if I go on there and go to, let's see, let's see, now virtual machines may not be the same, but anyway, if you go to, see, it said volume's 100%. It's not all the way up to the top there. That's because this is 100%. Actually, I can't do it because it's not doing it on here for some reason. Due to unimmersive nature of this, I guess. There it is. See this, A raise all the way to 100% there. But this doesn't go anywhere. It stays put where it's at. It's like the volume control of Pulse Audio, as opposed to the volume control on your computer itself. So you can lower this without this changing. If you wanted to have a higher volume, raise it up. This will make it even louder. 100%, it'll be 110, 20%, something like that. But yeah, if you use your, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can go to this. You can go this all the way down to here. That'll stay the same, almost. Okay, now I'm going to max. So anyway, the audio mixer is built right into the volume control area over there. So if you want to go to more, here you can see it graphically, or it's 100% right now. But just basically get the line out so it goes even bigger than what it is. So it's output devices. Here you have your configuration. Playback. So yeah, you got all that stuff there. And I think, oh, I was going to show you the backgrounds. One last thing I'm going to show you this. Because one of the things about Linux Mint, it always has great backgrounds. So desktop settings, we go down here. Yeah. There we go. Showing all the backgrounds I have for everything, apparently. Backdrops. Here. Trying to find the. If somebody held backdrops, backgrounds, wallpaper. Yeah, let's add another way to refer to them to the list, huh? Yeah. Yeah, so you got a lot of interesting UMAs. These are one of the bottoms here are the UMAs. Looking for the thing that showed you I mean, usually it has a little thing on the left where you pick which version you want. Runa, and they always add new ones, so I want to get the Uma one. Maybe I think down here are Uma ones. Two new ones. Sydney. Live in Australia, especially live in Sydney, that may be a good one. And you got this one here, which is pretty interesting. It's like some kind of eclipse taking place or something. Very yellow though. Like yellow, it's a good one for you if you know. Not so good. And yet, this is Pinky's one. Pinky will see this, you like it, I'm sure. And yeah, this is like the interesting one, and it. Yeah, it's Bear Madness area, it looks like. And yet this one, more design function. Which is more design function. This one, which is flower one, apparently. Yeah, it's still a flower one. Here's Venice. This is Una. I know that's Una. We were seeing that in the Una section. If you like Venice, or that's a nice picture in it. Yep. Yeah, this evergreen tree close-up shot type thing. You have what looks like a moon, but it's ice ball. I think maybe they show all the Una desktop wallpapers here. That's pretty, isn't it? Like that one. And snow on the trees a little bit. It's been snowing here where it says is that. And yeah, this Mayan looking architecture there. And the design one. Here's a city one. I think this is Washington or Seattle or something. No, it's San Francisco. Excuse me, San Francisco. Daily. Daily. San Francisco. So yeah. You get that function of it. Let's see what else we have here. And get my eyes open so I can see what I'm doing here. Sometimes my eyes don't want to open up very fast. There I go. And if you like simplicity's sake, lamp. So like somebody just went to their house, took pictures of their lamp. Here's the Golden Gate Bridge. No, this isn't Golden Gate. This is Istanbul. Istanbul, not Constantinople, it's Istanbul. Easy Lego custom stable JPEG. Over the. This is another one. Yeah, you got your. You play. Hi. Enjoy. Yeah, somebody popped in and just left a weird thing. Probably about a robot or something like that. Anyway. Down in jungle-ish area. Another picture of the frozen winter ball, it says. This is moon over Chinese style building of some kind somewhere. And this is in Beijing, of course, naturally, so it is Chinese for sure. And this close up of some ice or snow or something there, I guess. On Divas. Here's pretty flowers. Nice, huh? And now I think we're getting up to the other seen before. Uma. More pictures of trees. Uma. Yeah, it's a broad view of some mountains. All these are images, huh? Not sure how you, well, I don't know how you get it, but I'm not sure if they're on here or not. There are other kinds. Ooh, that's Northern Lights there. It says where it's at. Poland. In Poland, I know there's Northern Lights of Poland. Kiel. Look up the city. Yeah. Nice. Interesting. Logs. There's a picture of that, whatever that is. Looks like some kind of sand. It's been, or some that's been pushed up. Interesting. Get the those keyboard. Yeah, water. Water picture with all the fishies underneath water. And boats on top. Yeah, that's pretty. There's if you want to feel like you want to just lay back and sit and watch the water in the bay. Too bad it's not graphical. You have all your nice mid screen. You get that, 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 that. There's a lot of different desktop things you can get in here. Interesting, Lanny Smith, graphical one. So anyway, there's your Peru. Lanny Smith. I think that about covers it for that. It's been about, let's see, 7:35, so it's been about an hour and a half. Been going on this, so we'll call it a day, huh? Yeah, thanks anybody that's watched this video. Subscribe if you have a mind to down below. And we'll jump in and take care of things later. See, next week we'll review whatever distro comes up next week. We'll find out later on, huh? See you until then. You'll see you next time. Remember, may the ladies first be with you. Bye.